Little Women by Louisa May Alcott, a captivating book review. Hi everyone. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're diving into a timeless classic, Little Women by Louisa May Alcott. This heartwarming story of four sisters navigating life, love, and personal growth during the Civil War era has captivated readers for generations. But does it still hold up today? Let's find out. Set in Concord, Massachusetts during and after the American Civil War, 1861 to 1865, Little Women follows the lives of the March family, focusing on four sisters coming of age in a time of societal constraints and economic hardship. The novel beautifully captures domestic life in 19th-century New England, exploring themes of family bonds, gender roles, personal ambition, and moral growth. In terms of length, Little Women is comparable to Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice or Charlotte Bronte's Jane Eyre. Substantial but not overwhelming. The original publication was actually in 2 volumes, now often published as Part 1 and Part 2, making it accessible to read in segments if preferred. This novel is ideal for readers 12 and up, though adults will appreciate the deeper layers of social commentary and character development that younger readers might miss. It's perfect for anyone who enjoys character-driven stories, family dynamics, and coming-of-age narratives with a historical backdrop. Plot. Just a heads up, this part contains spoilers, so skip ahead if you want to avoid them. Little Women centers on the 4 March sisters, Meg, Jo, Beth, and Amy, who live with their mother, Marmee, while their father serves as a chaplain in the Civil War. The story begins during Christmas, where we immediately get a sense of each sister's distinct personality. Meg, the beautiful eldest who longs for the finer things in life. Jo, the spirited tomboy with literary ambitions. Beth, the shy, gentle musician. And Amy, the artistic youngest with a flair for the dramatic. The narrative follows their domestic adventures, friendships, and individual journeys toward adulthood. A key relationship develops when the girls befriend their wealthy neighbor, Theodore Laurie Lawrence, who becomes particularly close with Jo. His grandfather, Mr. Lawrence, forms a special bond with Beth over their shared love of music. As the story progresses, each sister faces personal challenges and growth opportunities. Meg falls in love with Laurie's tutor, John Brooke, and eventually marries him despite her dreams of wealth. Jo pursues her writing ambitions while rejecting Laurie's romantic advances, unable to see him as more than a friend. Beth contracts scarlet fever after helping a poor immigrant family, leading to lasting health complications. Amy travels to Europe with their wealthy aunt, developing her artistic talents and maturing into a refined young woman. The second half of the novel sees the sisters entering adulthood. Beth's health deteriorates, eventually leading to her deeply moving death that profoundly affects the entire family. Jo moves to New York to pursue writing and meets Professor Friedrich Baer, an intellectual who challenges and supports her literary ambitions. Amy unexpectedly falls in love with Laurie during their time in Europe, after he has matured from Jo's rejection. Jo ultimately returns home, inherits her Aunt March's estate, Plumfield, and establishes a school with Professor Baer, whom she marries. What makes the plot exceptional is Alcott's refusal to follow conventional romantic trajectories, particularly in Jo's rejection of Laurie, and her focus on the sisters' individual growth rather than merely their marital prospects. The characters face realistic challenges, make mistakes, and evolve in convincing ways. The novel's most powerful moments often come in the quiet domestic scenes that reveal character. Jo selling her hair to help fund her father's return home, Beth's gentle friendship with Mr. Lawrence, the sisters performing their Christmas play, and their collective grief after Beth's death. I give the score 8.5/10 for plot. The narrative balances light-hearted domestic episodes with profound emotional moments, creating a compelling portrait of family life. While the pace occasionally slows in descriptive passages, the authentic character development and emotional resonance more than compensate. Point. Little Women presents several interconnected themes that were revolutionary for its time and remain relevant today. At its core, the novel examines female identity and autonomy in a patriarchal society. Through the March sisters, particularly Jo, Alcott explores the tension between societal expectations for women and personal ambition. The book champions moral development and character building, influenced by the transcendentalist philosophy popular in Alcott's circle. Her father was friends with Ralph Waldo Emerson and Henry David Thoreau. The girls' efforts to overcome their personal flaws, Meg's materialism, Jo's temper, Beth's timidity, and Amy's vanity, form a central narrative thread, guided by their mother's wisdom. Family loyalty stands as the novel's emotional anchor. Despite financial hardship, the March family creates a home rich in love, moral values, and mutual support. Their willingness to help others despite their own limited means demonstrates Alcott's belief in compassion and charity as essential virtues. Perhaps most progressive is the novel's exploration of women's work and creativity. Each sister has distinct talents and ambitions. Meg in homemaking, Jo in writing, Beth in music, and Amy in visual arts. Alcott treats these pursuits with equal seriousness, suggesting that women's creative and professional lives deserve respect. The novel's approach to marriage is nuanced for its era. While marriage remains an important life milestone, Alcott presents it as a partnership rather than a woman's sole purpose. Both Meg and Jo marry men who respect their individuality and support their growth, challenging the period's conventional marriage narratives. Some modern readers might find certain elements dated, particularly the emphasis on feminine virtue and self-sacrifice. However, when viewed in historical context, Alcott's work was subtly subversive, questioning gender norms while working within them. The novel never suggests that women's domestic roles diminish their intelligence or agency. I give the score 9 out of 10 for point. Alcott's seamless integration of moral philosophy with engaging storytelling creates a work that entertains while thoughtfully examining fundamental questions about gender, individuality, family, and personal ethics. Questions that continue to resonate with readers today. Style. Alcott's writing style in Little Women balances accessibility with literary merit. Her prose is clear and unpretentious, yet capable of profound emotional resonance. The novel's omniscient narration allows intimate access to each character's thoughts while maintaining a warm, sometimes gently ironic perspective on their foibles and growth. The dialogue sparkles with authenticity, capturing each sister's unique voice, from Amy's occasionally pretentious vocabulary to Jo's colloquial expressions. Family conversations feel natural and often showcase both humor and emotional depth, as in this exchange after Jo sells her hair. The language shifts effectively between light-hearted domestic episodes and moments of profound emotion. Alcott never overplays sentimental scenes, allowing the inherent emotion of situations like Beth's illness to emerge organically rather than through stylistic manipulation. The novel's structure mirrors its thematic concern with growth and development. The episodic format of the early chapters gives way to more sustained narrative arcs as the sisters mature, reflecting their evolution from children engaged in playful pilgrimages to adults facing complex life decisions. Alcott excels at revealing character through small, telling details. Meg's longing glance at fine gloves in a shop window, Jo absently burning her dress while reading, Beth quietly replacing sheet music after playing for Mr. Lawrence, Amy's careful attention to her appearance even in illness. These moments achieve characterization without extensive exposition. One stylistic weakness may be occasional didacticism, particularly in passages explicitly addressing moral lessons. These moments reflect the era's literature for young readers, which often emphasized moral instruction. However, they're generally balanced by Alcott's humor and psychological insight. The novel's descriptive passages create a vivid sense of place, particularly the march home, which emerges as a character in its own right. Modest but warm, filled with books, music, and homemade comforts. Alcott's attention to domestic details grounds the narrative in everyday realities while elevating them to subjects worthy of literary treatment. I give the score 8 out of 10 for style. While occasionally showing its 19th century origins in didactic moments, Alcott's prose achieves a remarkable balance between accessibility and literary craft, creating characters and scenes that remain vivid more than 150 years after publication. Conclusion. I give the score 8.5/10 for overall. Little Women stands as one of American literature's most beloved classics for good reason. It offers a portrait of family life that feels authentic and emotionally resonant across generations, presenting characters who are flawed, lovable, and ultimately inspiring in their efforts to grow into their best selves. What makes the novel endure is its perfect balance of familiarity and subversion. While embracing many aspects of 19th-century domestic fiction, Alcott quietly challenges period assumptions about gender and individual fulfillment. Jo March, in particular, remains a compelling literary heroine, talented, flawed, independent-minded, and ultimately charting her own course even within social constraints. The novel's portrayal of sisterhood captures both the irritations and the profound bonds of family relationships. Few works before or since have so convincingly depicted the complexity of relationships between sisters, the rivalries and reconciliations, the shared jokes and sorrows, the ways they shape each other's development even as they pursue divergent paths. I highly recommend Little Women to readers of all ages who appreciate character-driven stories with emotional depth. It's particularly valuable for young readers looking for relatable heroines facing universal challenges. Anyone interested in 19th-century American life and culture. Readers who enjoy exploring family dynamics and female relationships. Those who appreciate classics that subtly challenge the social norms of their era. Modern readers may need to adjust to the occasional moral lessons and some period attitudes, but the novel's warmth, humor, and psychological insight transcend its historical context to speak to universal human experiences of growth, loss, ambition, and love. Ready to experience this timeless classic for yourself? Get your copy of Little Women in paperback today. Click link in description below to order directly from my KDP store on Amazon and have this beautiful edition delivered straight to your door.